I hope you liked last week's video when we were talking about the Nesmith axe. And in the future, we're actually going to make some sheaths for these. We're going to have some special videos on how to make your own leather sheaths for your axes or hatchets. It's going to be a great series. I'm really excited about it. If you are new to leather work, it's a great first-time project. There's really not a whole lot into it. You just need some basic tools to get you going. So this week, we're going to talk about Kephart's hatchet. Now, a while ago, I made a video about Kephart's knife. I love this thing. If you're interested in an authentic reproduction Kephart knife, then you need to reach out to Darcy Quap of Prairie Forge and Axe. Prairie Forge and Axe. He's from Canada. You can only reach him going on Facebook. He doesn't have a website. I wish he did. But he's a master bladesmith, and he made my Kephart. I love this thing. It's as accurate as you can really get, unless you're a bladesmith yourself and you know what you're doing. You can make your own. There's a few people out there who make really nice reproductions. Darcy Quap is one of the best. Okay, there's a few others, but Darcy Quap, in my opinion, he's the one who I personally chose, is the best. So. But there you go. Take it or leave it. There's other people who make them, but that's my choice. So Kephart is an interesting guy. We talked about Mr. Kephart throughout my videos, here and there and everywhere. And if it wasn't for his personal life choices, I would consider him a good mentor. But his personal life choices keep me from idolizing him that much. But when it comes to his knowledge of outdoor skills and camp crafting skills, I can't deny that. The man literally was kind of a hermit, lived in the Carolinas, and he practiced what he preached. So the man has all that knowledge and all that experience, and when a person like that speaks up, you want to listen. Why reinvent the wheel? Why go through all the troubles and all the frustrations when you have somebody out there who's already done all that for you, wrote books about it, and in articles like Field and Stream, and he's well recognized. The guy was also brilliant. He was a librarian, and not just for anybody, but he was a librarian for Ivy League schools. In fact, he was a librarian in Missouri, where he set up the largest collection of Western paraphernalia of his time. So, again, when we talk about having resumes and life experiences, Mr. Kephart definitely was on top of that. The one person who I wanted to trust with a very similar resume to make my reproduction axes was Doug Lockhart of Lockhart Ironworks in Logan, Ohio. The man has his own blacksmithing school. Him and his daughter teach people how to blacksmith, and he has taught several contestants on Forged in Fire for the History Channel. So the guy has a reputation of being one of the best. But on top of all that, he's one of 3 people in the United States who's trusted to actually recondition, repair, and just work on old antique iron bridges from the early 1900s and the late 1800s. The guy knows his stuff, and he practices what he preaches at his home. Like, he literally practices everything he preaches. He worked in the living historical field when he was much younger, so he takes the history aspect very seriously. So it's not just an interest, it's not just a hobby, but it is his way of life. It's his working life. That's how he makes his money. So I will consider myself very blessed. I'm very honored that when I reached out to him and I asked him for this, because the guy's super busy, he said yes. He said, yeah, I'll make it. I'm interested. And mostly it's because of the historical aspect. It caught his curiosity. But that being said, he decided after making these that he's never going to make the little ones again. At least that's what he said. Maybe he'll be convinced later on. But he said the little ones are just too much of a pain. It's not really worth his time. He thinks that they're kind of silly for what they are. But he wants to make larger forest axes. So if you're interested in a larger forest axe, reach out to him. I'm sure he'd be willing to do it because he's got all the tooling made. So He made 2 of these for me, and he made 2 extra to sell. If you are interested in either a Kephart axe or a Nesmith axe, then send me an email. As long as it's still available, in the description it'll still say it's available. If someone's bought them, then they'll be removed from the description. So if you're watching this and you're interested in one of these, and you look in the description and it says that they are no longer available, reach out to Mr. Lockhart and he'll hook you up, maybe. Or maybe. All right, so Mr. Kephart, he decided that he wanted a small axe, much like Nesmith's. The difference was Kephart was very precise about what he described his axe to be. He had an axe from the Colclesser brothers. You must have really liked their items. Colclesser brothers even sold a rendition of his knife, and those are really rare. There's only 2 known to exist. Maybe there's some more floating around somewhere. But the Colclesser axes are also extremely rare. There's not that many of them that are floating around. If people have them, they're not putting it out there. You don't see them on eBay. Come up very often, if ever. But Colclesser had this type of axe, and it was 8 ounces. Mr. Lockhart was very precise, and this head is exactly dead on of 8 ounces. We knew that it had a 2-inch bit, and we know some other dimensions about it. But on top of all that, Mr. Kephart said he wanted his hatchet on a 17-inch handle that he made himself. It's like, man, 17 inches for such a little itty bitty axe. Now, he called it the tomahawk because, well, with the size and everything and the shape, it is very similar to a tomahawk. So we put the head on a piece of oak. This is a handle that I made myself. So Mr. Lockhart, he made the head and I made the handle. I decided on oak instead of hickory because, well, I had oak available. I had it in my shop. I didn't have a piece of hickory. And since Mr. Kephart said he made it himself, I was like, well, this would be a cool opportunity to do something a little bit unique. The 3 types of woods that you really want your tool handles to be made from are either hickory, ash, maybe oak. The problem with oaks is that it can splinter. You want to make sure you got to keep it oiled up, otherwise they start to split and splinter on you. And I take care of my tools, so I decided I wanted oak. And white oak looks gorgeous when it's oiled. So this is a 17-inch handle. Now, it's really awkward, especially if you're going to carry this on your belt. It's more likely to be more comfortable on your back or maybe on a sling. I think he wanted it so long because of the weight of the head itself was so light. You have to get the momentum for it to be really all that useful. Whereas Nesmith's hatchet, you got the weight. The weight itself does a lot and won't fatigue you as much versus Kephart's. This doesn't weigh anything. Now, if you're going out setting a trap line or something, using this to hammer in trap stakes or to limb some things, maybe do some kindling or light cutting, this is pretty nice. But I gotta tell you, if I'm going to take one out to the woods, I think I prefer this one, which surprised me. When I picked these up from Mr. Lockhart, I honestly thought that this is the one that I would want to take out in the woods just because of its shape. I didn't have that much faith in the shape of this one to be able to limb that well. I'm sure it was going to be a decent splitter, but this one I thought would be more of a overall well-rounded hatchet to take out in the field. It does a great job. And I'll take you out in the woods and we'll show you how it works. We'll chop some things down, we'll split some things, and we'll play around with it. But it just doesn't perform as well as I thought it would in comparison to this. But if you're going backpacking and you're not going to be doing a whole lot of chopping, you're not going to be making massive shelters or something like that. You mostly just need some wood for fires or maybe some light shelters, then this is probably the one you want to take. If you're counting ounces, this is the one you want to take, because with the head and the handle, it only weighs 1 pound, 6 ounces. 1 pound, 6 ounces. Now, Horace Kephart said his weighed 1 pound, 10 ounces. So this one's 4 ounces lighter, and I suspect that has something to do with the type of wood he used for the handle. I don't know if he used ash or if he used hickory. He didn't clarify in anything that I found. And maybe, you know, the weight itself. Maybe he had a thicker handle or something like that. You know, 4 ounces in wood is actually quite a bit, and I don't think I would add 4 ounces of white oak to this and it'd be all that comfortable. But there you go. This is the Kephart hatchet. If you're interested in picking up one of these for yourself, it's a very well made, high quality steel, made from the master blacksmith himself, Doug Lockhart, and he's got his touch mark right there, then you can't beat it. $200. Send me an email and we'll get one sent your way. If you want the Nesmic as well, it's $200, but it'll be an accurate reproduction that's sent your way. If you want one of each like me, because you want to be able to compare yourself, then there you go. I only have one of each. So reach out, and if in the description it says that it's gone, that means it's gone. It's sold. So if you're interested, check out the description and make sure it's still available for you. Use your time in that way. You want to make sure to subscribe, because we're going to take this out in the field, we're going to test it out, and it's all going to be about using it for the various purposes out in the field, whether it be for making a fire, making a shelter, splitting, making kittling, chopping, all that stuff will be tested out in that video. We're going to put it through the ringer. So subscribe, that way you're with us. If you're interested in my Campcraft cookbook, I have 97 recipes that I researched and compiled into a historical cookbook, and the years for every single recipe is right next to it. It's all cited and resourced. It's $25. It's a digital cookbook. Nice thing is, being digital, you can take it with you on your phone. So when you're outdoors, you can look it up really quick, or you can save it, download it, so you don't even have to worry about your internet use, and right there it is. It's a pretty handy tool for you. It's $25. Send me an email and I'll get it to you right away. And it goes to supporting this channel, and we really appreciate it. If you want to see the video about the Nesmic axe, then you want to check out the video here. We break down the history of it, and we take a look later on and how it was used out in the field. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Give a kiss on to your loved ones, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.